Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. We have a bit of a repair challenge today. I have two items that I've picked up in my e-waste Monday marathon videos. We get stuff from the charity shop each week. Last week we had two items that didn't work. I want to see if we can save them. This one is a Lennox CD player, radio, and I think it has USB and MP3. It has speakers to go with it. There's no remote. It's a fairly basic, cheap system. But common with the CD or DVD players alike, the tray sometimes won't open. So it would be a shame to send it to e-waste just because of that. We'll see if we can fix that one. It's not worth a great deal. That even in going condition, I'd probably only ask about $20, $25 for it. So it's probably not really viable in most people's terms to repair it. But hey, a part of the Ultimate Recycler mantra is to stop as much electrical stuff going to waste as we can. It's one of the biggest waste streams on the planet, so we want to try and give things a second life. This one's a bit better. This is a Panasonic Blu-ray player. I have the remote. Same thing, the tray won't open. So it's usually a belt drive. I thought we'd tackle both of these in the one video. We'll probably start with the Lennox one, see if we can sort that out. So how are we going to go? We're going to have 100% success, 50% success, 50% failure, same thing, or 100% failure. If we fail, I guess we'll scrap them, but I want to see if we can get them going. So let's go. We'll try the Lennox first. So here's what this little one looks like with its speakers. It's a pretty budget model. I'm not sure how old it would be. It's a model BMV26. I can't see any clues there as to what year it would have been made, but it's certainly in the last 20 years, probably in the last 10. And not really designed to be repaired like most things these days, and that's such a waste. But we're going to try and beat the system, and we're going to try and repair it. So I'll turn it on and show you what it's doing for a start. And I'm not sure if you can hear that. Let's get the microphone closer. That's all we're getting from the tray. I think it's saying open on the screen here, and it's just trying and nothing's happening. So the motor's working. I would suspect it's just a belt. And is it even going to stop doing that? There, okay, it's given up now. If we press open, close again, it's going to try it again. All right, so we need to pull it apart and see if we can access the drive motor and the belt, hopefully fairly easily. Okay, it should go without saying, but unplug the unit first. Looks like we have 3 screws to remove the outer casing. Now, a lot of the cheaper units that aren't designed to be repaired are made such that they're very difficult to repair because they don't allow easy access to components. Quite often the wiring looms between components are soldered and don't have plugs. So we'll see what it looks like when we get in there. Okay, we have screws on the side. Yep, one on each side. Okay, let's take the cover off. And it looks okay. The wiring does plug onto the boards. Not much in here as usual. There's a lot of empty space. So we really just have a control board at the front and probably a combined power board amplifier at the back here. So we'll need to take that out because the CD tray is underneath. So we'll need to, does the bottom come off? It's a bit hard to know what holds that in actually. We can take the front panel off. That might be best, and we'll be able to access the front of the tray. Oh, look, it's going to move out easily here. Ah, there's the belt. Broken belt. So easy to find the problem. And it's quite perished. As I stretch it, I can see lots of little cracks in there. So the rubber's just aged. And even though this thing isn't very old, it's obviously just very poor quality rubber. So hopefully I've got something about the same size. We just need to work out how's the easiest way to get in there and replace it. So I'll take the front off first, I think, and see how we go from there. Okay, so the whole front panel should pull away, and I'll probably try and avoid unplugging the wires unless I absolutely have to, but I think we can flex it up out of the road. Now, how do we access here? The tray will probably come right out. I can see the pulley that the belt goes on. Just under there, it's peeking out from underneath. Maybe, I think we might have to take the top board off as well, because I don't think we can really get to it. Oh, hang on. Maybe this bottom shell will come off. But we do need to get under here, so I think we'll access it from the top. We can take the mains cord out. That will slide out of the case. That will make it a bit easier. We don't have a wire holding us down like an anchor. So we have, I think we'll take this whole back panel off actually. So there are 2 screws at the front of this board and the 2 screws at the underneath. And we will maybe have to unplug some wires. We'll see how we go. Okay, is that going to get us somewhere? That's good. All right, we don't have to unplug any wires. Now, we need to get this top bracket off somehow. How does that attach? I'll screw down the side, I think. So we can take that bracket out of the road. Hopefully. Yep. And now we have a little cover here. We'll need a smaller screwdriver for that. We can remove that. That's just a magnet to clamp the CD when it's in. Now well, actually, we don't need to take it any further. I think we can slip a belt over the pulley there. The tray probably comes out. Oh, it does. That would be easier. We just have a little spring-loaded plastic clip here. And one on this side. There we go. Excellent. So that's easy, fairly easy to access. Front pulley there. The motor to drive it there. Should be all we need to do. I'll go and find a belt. So I've been through my supply of belts and the closest I could find is still a little large. So it doesn't look much bigger, but given that the old one that's broken has probably stretched a bit as well. And I did just try it over the pulley on here and it's a little loose. It still drives, but it's not quite good enough. And that's a real shame. I've got a big assortment of belts. I bought a couple of cheap packs off eBay and they've got all sorts of sizes, but that's the smallest. So whether I have to buy another assortment of small belts from eBay and wait for a while to finish this. I do sometimes throw a few belts in a little tub when I'm scrapping stuff, but I don't have anything, even though it's secondhand, I don't have anything that's going to suit. That's a bit disappointing. I'll have a look and see if I've got some when I have a moment in another box, but I'll have to put this aside for now. At least I've got the footage of how to put it to get back together if it takes a week or two to get the belts. So this project might have to pause for a bit. We'll put it aside and I'll have a look at the Panasonic Blu-ray player next. The Panasonic has a very similar issue, and even the noise. Let's power it up. And I think we need the remote to turn it on. Yep, it says hello there. And I can hear some noises coming from the tray. I'm not sure if you guys can. We'll put the microphone down there again and we'll push open. So much quieter in this case, but it's definitely trying to do something, and I think it said open on the screen. Alright, so we'll power that off. I'm presuming it's the same issue, probably not as noisy because it's a better quality mechanism. Let's just assume that until proven otherwise. So to get into it, we have 4 screws at the back, it looks like. And I think that's it. There's no screws on the sides. Is there any underneath? No. Okay, there we go. Easy to get into. A lot easier to work on this style because it's all nicely laid out. So we have a power board, our main board, pretty simple layout, and we just need to access. I think we'll probably have to take the front cover off. They usually just unclip on these ones. And there's a clip in the middle here, is there? There we go. Maybe there is some screws underneath. No, there's clips underneath as well. And what's stopping that popping off? Maybe the tray has to come out. Can we manually move that? No, there's no screws in the top. We'll take that top cover off. There's holes for screws, but it's just clipped as well. I guess cost saving. Alright, so that's that piece off. How do we get the tray out? Maybe it'll lift back up. No, it's underneath some guides. Alright, I think we actually need to take this, and it's probably the easiest way to do is just to take that whole CD drive thing out. In fact, there's no screws at the front either, it's just on little locating pins. So we have just some screws at the back. We probably don't need to take the front cover off at all. Well, the front of the tray is causing problems. Maybe the front cover will come off now with the tray. Okay, well that's got all that removed. It's possible that the tray is jammed and the belt might be okay just slipping. Alright, we'll unplug this from the rest of the unit so it's a bit easier to work on. We can probably leave the big ribbon cable attached if we don't stress it too much. Now maybe the front of the tray comes off. Okay, I think with just a bit of prying I've managed to release the tray a bit. But that might be enough to remove the front section. It doesn't have screws, it must just clip. It does. Little plastic clips everywhere. Okay, there we go. No clips were broken. We can take this front panel off now. It'll give us a bit easier access. Now we need to get the tray to slide out. I haven't seen any broken belts as yet. Well, it looks like the unloading and loading belt is okay. But somehow the actual tray seems to be jammed somehow. Right, I'm going to release this ribbon cable because I don't like flexing it all the time. And we can take that out. It's probably taped, is it? Oh no, it's just through clips. Oh, and it's taped or glued. Okay, did I say these things are easier to work on? Geez, that's pretty tough glue too. And I don't know that it unplugs from that side. At least it doesn't without us removing the board. Okay, so they've used probably double-sided tape to stick it to the plastic housing. And they're pretty delicate cables, so I really don't like doing this. And that's really holding on. Okay, that's got it. I don't think we've damaged it. Now let's try and get this thing apart somehow. Work out why the tray's not going further out. Let's get this to slide right out of the road. Same deal as with the other one. There's plastic clips either side. Okay, nothing looks damaged, and we can see the belt here is okay. Seems a little loose, but unless it was slipping. It slips very easily. Maybe it does need a new belt. Yeah, I think that's because it's that shape. It's been sitting around that little pulley and not moving for a long time, and it looks a bit perished on the inside, so it may have been slipping and just not being able to drive this tray. Have I got a belt that size? It looks very similar to the other one. I'll go and have a look. I have found a belt here that's actually probably a whisker smaller than the one we've taken off, which is good. And it's the same size square, so hopefully that will do the job. Slightly larger than the belt from the other unit. So that looks better. And that provides a bit more torque. Alright, so if we did have a slipping belt problem, that should have fixed it. I'm not sure, I don't think anything else is wrong with it. We'll see if we can give it a test without putting it all back together. Okay, that's gone in now. And it seems to lock in there, but that might be normal. I think it's all lined up. So we'll try and provide some power to it and see if the tray will open now. We shouldn't need the data connection. We'll probably need this one. That'll be like a control information, and this will be power, I think. And I'm not sure if we even need that. That's the on-off switch. I guess we need that plugged in. But I think it might come on without that because we have our infrared sensor on the board here. We'll plug it in anyway, see what happens. Oh, there we go. Hello. The laser's looking for a disc. Now, will it open? Open, close is that one. Oh, there we go. Beauty, it's working. Will it close? Yes. Okay, I think that's all we needed to do. Just the belt was slipping. Perhaps the tray had been forced and it might have come out of alignment a bit and it was extra hard to move and the belt just wasn't good enough to drive it. But I think we can put this back together now. Okay, I've just got that ribbon cable plugged back in and fed back through where it was. The stickiness is still enough to hold it. I don't think it's really necessary because it doesn't move around. Although I suppose the carriage moves back and forward, but there's enough flex there. So it's just got two locating pins on the front, some screws at the back. Much easier to put back together because at least I know where things go and what clips and what unclips. And it should be pretty quick. So that's all together now. We do need to put this back on. Which way did that go? That way? No, I think it went this way. It just covers the laser. And I suppose while we've got it here, it looks really clean. There's hardly any dust in here. But we'll get a cotton bud and just wipe the top of the laser lens to make sure there's no dust on it. With a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on there. That should be pretty good. I think this thing would have been working fine. It's just that the door failed to keep opening and closing. And then someone thought it was necessary to donate it to a charity shop. And I'm kind of glad they did, rather than just throw it into e-waste, because I get a chance to save it. All right, now I think we need to put this end bracket on after the tray goes through the front assembly. So this plugs in for our power button, and it really just all clips together. That should be okay. And rather than try and force the tray out and maybe upset the gears, which may have been done perhaps if it was not working, someone might have tried to lever it and it might have jumped one of the cogs and caused more issues, we can power it back up again and get the tray to open, and then we'll just clip this on the front. There we go. Very nice. And this just clips on the top here. Just like that. Excellent. So it's all back together other than the top. Let's put a disc in and see if it reads, and then we'll hook up a TV and make sure it plays okay. Close. Spinning up. The laser seems to be working properly. And it says play on the front. So that should be good. I'll put the cover on now. We'll hook it up to a TV and just make sure all the controls work. Right, now to check it through the TV, it's plugged in through HDMI. We need to be able to open the door. We'll put our DVD in, close. And I think it'll auto play. It's reading the disc. But the tray's working nicely, and I'm pretty sure that was our only fault. At least I'd like to think it was, otherwise it was probably a wasted job. It looks like it's going to read it. And it's starting to play automatically. Very good. Excellent. We better make sure that we have sound and everything. Yep, we got the music on the intro. Let's press play. So the remote appears to be working fine. Everything's responding. We'll skip through into the movie if we can. There we go. And stop. Fantastic. All works beautifully. Let's take our DVD out. And we can now take the unit to the shop. And now I can't finish this video until the belt turns up for the CD player, and then we'll wrap things up. It'll probably be a week or so, but be only a couple of minutes for you guys. And just like that, it's a few weeks later, or at least for me, and I've got my assorted pack of belts from eBay. There is different size pack than what I last bought. Unfortunately, they're a little bit thicker. They're like, are they 1mm square maybe? They're slightly thicker cross section than the one I needed, but I think it'll be all right. It stretches out to be the same size. It won't fit in the pulley quite as deeply, but I think it will still work fine. Anyway, it's a replacement belt. Let's see how it goes. I've got to remember how to put this thing back together. It's all been packed up in a tub since you last saw this, and I've had to quickly look back at the footage to see what I did. So we'll get all the bits out. We'll replace the belt. This was all still together, I think. We have that bracket to put on. And I have screws here separated into one's internal screws, back cover or something screws, and the side cover screws. I forget now, but I did segregate them. It's a little bit easier to work out which screws we're using to put it back together. All right, let's try and get this sorted out. Well, that's where our belt goes, straight on. Let's hope it fits. Through here. All right, it does have to squeeze past a little keeper there, and it's a bit thicker, so it's going to be a bit of a squeeze. But if we stretch it out, I guess we could always lift the pulley off. That might be better, rather than try and push it through a gap there that it won't fit. Okay, that might give you a better view. So we'll remove this screw, and we can lift the pulley up, which must have a drive gear on the other end, and a fair bit of grease. We don't want to get grease on the belt. And I think the belt will fit in that V quite nicely of the pulley. And drop that back down there. Yeah, that's going to work great. The belt fits in nicely. It's got plenty of torque. Excellent. Should have fixed the job. Let's reassemble. Okay, we've got to slide this tray in. Where it just sits on top there, it goes under these keepers at the back. It should engage with that gear. Oh, we're too high. Yeah, it's got to go under these. There we go, under that. It will engage with that gear, which should free spin, I hope. Yep. There we go, and that's locked in. Can we power it up just to test it before we reassemble everything? I always like to do that if I can. Just saves a lot of work if you've got to, haven't got something quite right and you've got to pull it all apart again. So our main's plugged in where? On the power board somewhere? There, just at the front. That's on. Let's plug it in. Okay, now where's our control panel? Let's see if we can open the door. The blue light's on here. Open, close. It's trying, but the belt's still slipping. Is the belt slipping or the motor not turning properly? Okay, different angle for you guys. The pulley's not spinning. When I try and open and close the tray, it starts and then it stops. And if I help the tray, it kind of works. And now it's trying to open again. But it's not the belt slipping. The motor isn't turning it. It's like the motor has no power. Maybe we have a faulty motor, but then we did have a broken belt, so we had to replace the belt. Maybe this thick belt is jamming up and putting too much load on the motor. Let's take this tray out again. Maybe the belt is too thick for it. Doesn't seem like it's rubbing anywhere. I wonder if it'll work without the tray in there. There you go, it's trying, and then it stops. And then it starts again. It'll keep going because the tray's not tripping a sensor. But it's very easy to stop. Let's take the belt off. I'll turn that off again. Take the belt off the motor pulley. Is that pulley easy to turn? Yeah, it turns freely. Let's see what the motor does. It spins nicely. Seems to have plenty of torque there now. Let's try it with the tray in again. Okay, it has got a problem. Something's binding up. Okay, we've had success here. I didn't realise the camera wasn't filming, but there wasn't a lot to show. What I did, I took the carriage out of the base of the unit here, just so I had good access to the motor from underneath. And you can see the motor there. I think you're still in shot. Yep. All I did, because the belt was a bit thicker, I just lifted the pulley on the motor a fraction. Now let's open it. Seems to be working well now. The belt itself was rubbing on the housing because the pulley was quite low in the housing area. I looked at adjusting the mounts on the motor, but the pulley is just a press on and it's quite firm, and I managed to lift it up about 1 mil. I don't think it's going to move, and that's given the belt a little bit of clearance over the plastic housing, and that's what was happening. It was working one way because one side of the belt is under more tension, and that was probably the clear side, and when it was trying to what was it trying to do? Push it out. This side of the belt was under tension and it was rubbing on the plastic housing. Now it appears to work beautifully. In and out, no problems at all. So the thicker belt's fine as long as it's got clearance. the V section in the pulleys is quite wide enough to take the thicker belt. So no issues, all fixed. Just the belt problem was the only issue. So now I've got a little bit more to put back together because I've got to put this back in here. We better unplug it and reassemble. Now that we're all back together, let's give it one final test. We'll power it up and we will open this side. There we go. Disc in, close, beautiful. Says it's loading. I think it'll auto play. We won't be able to play too much of it. And there we go. Pause, stop, open. All fixed. Excellent. So there we go, guys. Both units saved from the waste stream and relatively easy fixes, although there always seems to be a little bit of a glitch, as we saw with both of these. Perhaps with the second one, if I had exactly the right belt, it would have worked straight away. But often we have little other problems to overcome, and that's all part of the challenge. I'm pretty pleased to have saved both of these. And it does make me wonder how many items are not donated to charity shops because people have a bit of a conscience and they say, well, look, it's not working. We can't donate a faulty item. So a lot of them may go out to e-waste before I get a chance to save them. So even though it's probably not right to donate a faulty item to a charity shop, in my case here, it's a way of getting some things saved. I am trying to educate the general population around here to bring anything electrical they don't want straight to my shop. Don't worry about going to the charity shop because I'll get it anyway. The trouble is sometimes too, people at the charity shop think they want something out of the pile and it may not be safe. So that's a bit dangerous. I'm happy to save it all. If people bring it all to me, I'll do my best. So there might be a lot that actually goes straight out to the transfer station that could be saved. Anyway, I'm struggling to keep up with what I'm getting, so I guess we better not upset the status quo. Thanks for watching, guys. I think I have a customer already for the Panasonic Blu-ray player, and I'm going to ask $30 for that. I think that was well worth fixing. The other one's marginal because I'm probably only going to get $20 for it, the Lennox. It's a fairly cheap unit, and I did muck around for a while getting that belt to work. So marginal job, but at least we've saved it and someone will buy it. So $50 return. And this stuff came from one of my Monday Marathon videos, which you would have seen if you've been around the channel for a while. If you're just new here, check it out. Every week I try and save as much as I can from going out to the transfer station. So we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.